The UN Secretary-General António Guterres,
the United Nations Secretary-General assured he stands side by side with South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa and the people of Africa in their fight for justice on all fronts. In his recent joint media briefing with South Africa's Foreign Minister Ronald Lamola in the capital Pretoria, António Guterres affirmed that Africa needs financial justice. Guterres also said Africa needs climate justice as it stands on the front lines of the climate crisis, saying although the continent causes minimum emissions, climate change is affecting it and pounding its economies.
And I'm here at a critical time as South Africa assumes the presidency of the G20. This continent's potential is without question. Africa needs climate justice. The continent stands on the front lines of the climate crisis. Despite causing minimal emissions, climate change is pummeling your people and pounding your economies. Africa is warming faster than the global average. We must limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius to stop this crisis from spiraling even further out of control.
The United Nations chief also said that Africa needs access to financial support, noting that in September, world leaders adopted the Pact for the Future, which includes commitments for ambitious reforms to make the international financial architecture representative of today's global economy and put the needs of developing countries in the front. He said the Pact calls for action to move forward with sustainable development goals to substantially increase the lending capacity of multilateral development banks.
I'm here at a critical time as South Africa assumes the presidency of the G20. This continent's potential is without question. Africa is home to a young and growing population, rich cultural and natural diversity, and a tremendous entrepreneurial spirit. But this enormous potential continues to be held back by injustices that are deeply rooted in the history of colonialism.
He also confirmed his support for Africa to have 2 permanent seats as the United Nations Security Council. Speaking earlier in Johannesburg during the G20 Sherpa meeting, Guterres appealed to G20 countries to take the lead in delivering climate justice, saying that many vulnerable countries are being forced to respond to a crisis they did nothing to create.
And this also means developed countries fulfilling their finance commitments by keeping their promise to double adaptation finance and meaningfully contributing to the loss and damage fund. There is a story that not many people know. When the loss and damage fund was created, there were a few pledges.
South Africa assumed the G20 presidency on December 1, choosing the theme Solidarity, Equality and Sustainability for the G20 summit. It held its first G20 meeting on last Monday. As the first African country to lead the group of powerful nations, South Africa said its aim to seek to harness global will and capabilities to confront the enormous challenges facing the globe in general.